isn't about Jim Rutledge running for office. It's about the idea and the concept that Americans will engage once again. Here in the state of Maryland, we will once again get involved in our government. We will not just get in line waiting for the next career politician to take the next step up the ladder and say, well, it's their turn. No. Those of us who've helped create jobs, those of us who actually have had to let employees go because of downtimes, those of us who've had to go to the bank and say, hey, we need an extension on that line of credit, for the folks out there that are meeting their obligations. This is what we need in government. We need regular folks who have actually done something. Barbara Mikulski doesn't understand entrepreneurship. She's never created a private sector job. She's never started a business. She's on the government dole looking for a big retirement. Well, we want to give it to her early, don't we? How about some early retirement? It's a little overdue. I support the complete abolition of congressional pensions. Abolish the pensions. We need citizen legislators. We need folks coming, and that's why I support term limits. And I take that very seriously, that decision to support term limits, because I understand that, well, the vote, the election, that should be a term limit. But the reality is, with regard to Washington, D.C., we have a system called earmarking. The earmark system is a corrupt system by which senators get to pluck money out of the budget and pitch it to their favored people. It has disastrous results, but what it does is it enables the politician to pay back their financial supporters and then in turn keep them in power. It's a perpetual machine, and it needs to be dismantled. No earmarks, they need to be abolished. You know, here's a good example in the time of war, time of fighting two wars. Not declared wars, but still our men and women are in the field. This is a time to support the troops, I think. But with earmarking, this is the way it works. You take some money out of the military budget to build a museum in New Orleans. That happened last summer. What's happening here? What's happening is America is in very bad hands in Washington, D.C. right now. And I want to help put America back in your hands. Back in your hands, America. Back in your hands, Maryland. I want you to lead because I trust you to handle your own resources, your own income, your own investment decisions. I trust parents to know best how to raise their children and teach them their values. That's what I do. I trust you. I do not trust the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. I do not trust these career politicians. Deep down on some level, heck, I guess I'm just a rebel patriot. I don't trust the government. I'm running for government office, and it is a very power-hungry machine. We're looking at the biggest machine, perhaps, right here in Maryland in this election, Senator Barbara Mikulski. We know that she's been entrenched. We know this is a tough fight. We get all that. People across Maryland get all that. Yet, over the last 16 months, we've grown this campaign to now over 500 volunteers working across the state of Maryland. Over 20 jurisdictions organized and working, including our Baltimore City, going door to door in Barbara Mikulski's old neighborhood. And we're taking it, the fight. The people are taking the fight to her. You see, it's a matter of necessity. Some of you may have been involved in being a firefighter. Well, firefighters, to think about those firefighters, what do? They don't hesitate to run into a burning building when it's on fire and there's a child, maybe dead, maybe alive, on the 3rd floor. And they're going to go up and they're going to climb through those flames, and they don't know whether they just kissed their wife goodbye for the last time that morning or not. Why do they do it? They do it because it's a matter of necessity, and the threat that they're trying to address is very grave. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the threat that we're facing in Washington, D.C. right now to our individual liberties and freedoms are very, very grave. The threat to the United States Constitution, that's not just some flippant thing. I took an oath to uphold it. Many others did, and to defend it. But the threat to that document is very, very grave. So that calls for extraordinary actions. That calls for a guy like me, I'm holding up 7, that has a 7-minute commute from my little farm in Harford County to the law firm that I'm the founding partner of, small little practice, low overhead, decent profit, great clients, and a beautiful wife of 26 years to go home to at lunch anytime we want to get together. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be sacrificing to go to Washington, D.C. I've been to Washington. It's not a nice place. I'm not interested in joining the club. I'm interested in going and hammering down a job for you. So the risk that you'll be taking by supporting me, by putting on the bumper stickers, the signs, like many of you already have, getting involved in spreading the word, that's a small risk compared to the threat we're up against. Let's be reminded of the strength for a moment of King George and his army and his navy at the time that those unsung heroes stepped forward to fight to create a nation unlike any that had ever been created in the world before. 1773, that was the Tea Party in Boston. 1774 was the Tea Party in Chestertown, Maryland. A Tea Party in 1774 in Chestertown, where they went and they took that ship and they took the tea off and threw it in the water right out here. It caught on the next year and the next year and the next year after that. But it all ended when that war ended in 1783. And there was then a miracle happened in Annapolis, Maryland, where some of you came right through or from today. And that miracle was the officers of General Washington, the Maryland Line officers, agreed. They would lay down their arms. They would lay them down, and they would not make themselves aristocracy. Now, that's a miracle, ladies and gentlemen, because never in the history of a bloody revolution have the officers of the winning side not taken something for themselves, not taken just a little bit for themselves, not taken just a lion's share for themselves. And instead, they put into place what ultimately set the philosophy for the United States Constitution, which says there shall not be any titles of nobility granted in America, that everybody should have a shot in life and a fair opportunity and get into the game and go for it. And it doesn't matter who your parents are or where you were born into. That's not what matters, and that's what they said. No aristocracy. None of that. They said, no, we fought and bled for this. We want to record it. We fought and bled for those exalted rights and liberties, without which the state of being a rational being would be a curse rather than a blessing. That was just another way to say that there are unalienable rights that no government can legitimately take away. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And at the end of that war, they put it to pen in Annapolis, Maryland. Those officers, some of which were very young men. Very young. One of those guys was 21 years old when he joined up with the Maryland Line. Went all the way down to South Carolina and fought in a battle called Camden. And the Battle of Camden was a bad day for the Patriots. The British won that battle, and many were killed, many others were captured. This one young man, 21 years of age, was captured, held in a prison ship in Charleston, South Carolina, and somehow got back home. There's conflicting federal records, whether it was an escape or a trade or a swap. But the point is, the folks back home said he looked like the ghost of the man that had left. A strapping, young, brave farm boy, 21 years of age. And when he got back home to Maryland, he didn't say, Mama, hide me in the attic. I don't want to go back. He said, no, nurse me back to health, and I'll be back in the field tomorrow. He rejoined and served directly with General Washington and served directly with the man not far, whose folks were not far from here, Tench Tillman. Served with them to finish the war and signed that document in Annapolis, Maryland, that stated that the officers were going to stand beside their neighbors, uphold their neighbors, stand on the great principles. It was